Back with me is Senator Adam Schiff of California. He's a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee and a former member of the House January 6th Select Committee. Jack Smith, for now, that case is on hold. What do you make of Aileen Cannon's role in this? Isn't she no longer relevant to the case? She threw it out.
She shouldn't be relevant to the case at all. But, of course, it's shrewd of the Trump lawyers to go to her, as she has been unfailingly willing to carry Donald Trump's legal water in her own courtroom, making judgments that are unsupported by any precedent, but nevertheless can delay things. And here the object may be to see if she can delay any resolution of this until Trump is in office. His criminal lawyers are running the Justice Department, and they can make the report and all the rest of this go away. So her role has been clear from the start. I don't know whether this is auditioning for the Court of Appeals or what it is on her part, but nevertheless, completely out of the mainstream judgments. And here's another one, but most particularly as it pertains to January 6th. She has no interest, her defendants in her courtroom have no interest in that. There's no basis for her to withhold or order the withholding of that report. So this should be an easy one at the Court of Appeals and beyond. And what is so galling here is the president successfully escaped any kind of justice from the Justice Department 4 years after the fact. So in 4 years, the department could not bring him to trial. Now, not all on the department, big piece of it on the department for waiting so long, big piece of it on the Supreme Court for this horrendous immunity judgment. But here, the only kind of accountability left the Justice Department can provide is the public disclosure of his misdeeds. And they need to persevere with this. I
appreciate the elegance of your saying the Justice Department and not Merrick Garland, because Merrick Garland had a lot of decision-making power. And it does seem that when the January 6th committee delivered on a silver platter what should have been an indictment, he went around it with Jack Smith. That proved to be the opening that Aileen Cannon needed. So now there are other openings, at least theoretically. Joyce Vance, our wonderful friend and frequent guest on this and other shows, she said the following. Trump's DOJ, once he's in charge of the DOJ, can either move the cases for Walt Nauta and Donald Trump's former aide in Mar-a-Lago to trial, which would be an interesting spectacle, or Trump can pardon. The DOJ can dismiss the case. And if any of that happens, then congressional Democrats would then already have the report on the classified documents ready to release. And new leaders of the DOJ would have to decide how much they're going to let Trump dictate their work. Do you see a scenario where Democrats simply release the report yourselves?
Well, I think that under the precedent, it would only be shared with the chair and ranking member of the Judiciary Committee. And by shared, I don't know whether that's read and retain or what process that is. But I think the most likely scenario in terms of this new Trump Justice Department is they're going to want to make that case go away.
Sure.
Not only to reward people that might have been part of the plot to obstruct justice in the case of that DOJ investigation into those classified documents at Mar-a-Lago, but also because what comes out during the trial would be damaging to the president. So they're going to want that to go away. They want all of this to go away.
Sure.
And sadly, they will largely have the power to do that. Now, in theory, when that case goes away, if that's what they do, then there's nothing to, no argument to be made that the report should not be, that second volume on Mar-a-Lago should not be made public. There's no longer any argument. Do they need an argument? Does Trump need any argument? No.
Yeah. You're on Judiciary. There are going to be some hearings coming up. And I wonder which ones you find the most alarming, whether they're in your committee or not, the confirmation hearings. You have Pam Bondi that's coming up. You obviously have a Secretary of Defense who's a television host from Fox who would be replacing a four-star general and who has some allegations against him from women and also from his former colleagues regarding his use of funds. Marco Rubio is obviously coming up for Secretary of State. We've got them up on the screen, a lot of the people who are coming up. Is there one that particularly concerns you?
Well, I think the one that is so clearly, patently unqualified is Kash Patel, the nominee for FBI director. This is someone who is essentially an internet troll who rose to the level of his willingness to debase himself for the president. He has no business running the premier law enforcement agency in the country. He has said he wants to close down FBI headquarters and open up a museum to the deep state. This is not someone you want leading a department that has to try to protect us from another attack like the one we saw in New Orleans, or investigate what happened in Las Vegas, or attack the fentanyl problem. No, this is a political hack. And so that one should be easy. Now, whether it's easy or not will depend a lot on my Republican colleagues. There are concerns about a lot of the other nominees. I have profound concerns about Tulsi Gabbard. This is someone with no experience in the intelligence world, someone who has shown horrible judgment when it comes to dictators like Bashar al-Assad, who has echoed Kremlin talking points. Is this someone you want whispering into the president's ear during national security crises? I don't think so. I will retain an open mind until the final judgment and the background investigation are done. But those are two heavy obstacles for her to overcome, in my view.
Yeah, Senator Adam Schiff, you are going to have quite an interesting sojourn as a United States Senator, and so we will be watching, and please feel free to come back anytime to keep us updated, and we're going to be thinking about and praying for your state.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.